this is the future us. From an hour later that we forgot to say, subscribe this, you freaking beautiful person, you, and like and comment. We're going to warp back into our
Norway, Spain, and Ireland have officially recognized the sovereignty, the statehood of Palestine.
W for my boys in Norway. Yes.
Norway. I have no connection to...
I feel like I'm throwing gang signs out.
Yeah, I have no connection to Norway. But
well, chill there, dog.
Nor do I have a connection to Spain or Ireland. My wife is Irish. Her family's pretty Irish.
Didn't you say she was a woman of color?
Yeah, she's half Mexican.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
that makes
half
sense.
Mexican,
I was like,
half Irish. Yeah.
The Irish are not white.
Yeah.
They don't count as
she's
white
a person of color. She's Irish. No, she's her mother's side is Mexican. And her dad's side is very Irish.
Okay, that makes way more sense.
Right,
I was like, your wife's Irish, but she said she's a woman of color.
I've been assuming.
Like,
that's funny.
what?
That's a funny joke.
What are you gonna tell me? Next Italians are freaking white people?
They were considered historically for a long time.
White people?
Yeah. No. Ireland. I'm sorry. Italians were considered people of color for a long time.
Yeah, because they are.
Are they?
No, they're
Europeans.
not. I'm just fucking with you.
It's like Spaniards. Are Spaniards? I say no. But
I say Spaniards are white people.
Yeah, they are. They're just Western Europeans.
Yeah. They got a little Arab in there, though.
Some. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have
and
Arab.
a nice tan.
Yeah. Okay, that's a weird conversation. Let's I don't think two white guys should be the best judge of who is and isn't people of color. But I
know, I'm just moving around.
But if you're Western European, you're not a person of color.
No, I'm just making a historical jokes how the Italians
also,
and
if
Irish...
you're Israeli, you're not a person of color.
No, you're not. You're whiter than I am.
European. You're from Philadelphia or Long Island or whatever.
You're from fucking Ukraine. I'm more white. I am less white than you are.
Yeah. Okay, so getting back to the story. Ireland, Spain, and Norway have officially, all three of them, kind of in unison, announced plans to formally recognize Palestinian state. They've all kind of given their reasoning, and you can go look up individually their kind of rationale to do so. But it actually all three of them kind of said a similar message, which makes total sense. If you are supporting of a two-state solution, which I would say most centrists, most moderates, most liberals, Biden, most people, even most Israelis, or at least most Jews, I should say, not Israelis, but most Jews, American Jews, are all in favor of a two-state solution. That means one state and two-state. Recognizing Palestine as a state is part of that equation of two states. Israel is a state and Palestine is a state. But then actually you're seeing all these people that are like, I support a two-state solution, but I don't support recognizing Palestine as a state. Then it's like, well, then my brother, you don't support a two-state solution. You support a one-state solution, Israel. Now, tankies and kind of far left people, we support a one-state solution, Palestine. Israel. Palestine. That it's their natural.
I gotta take him out back, boys.
Sorry, guys. I misspoke. I don't know. I'm a Fed. I've been outed as a Fed.
Best get to stepping, son.
We support Palestine as it's their sovereign, it's their land, it's their original land, and I mean, Jews are welcome to stay there. Anyone who lives there can stay, but it's Palestinians' home.
At the end of the day, just the whole conversation of who is white passing or who is what's their skin color. At the end of the day, the Palestinians should be able to make that decision of what is to be done when all this is over. But at the end of the day, realistically, this whole two-state solution has actually never worked out. Mm-hmm. There've always been problems because there's always that one state that is more powerful than the other because of the backing from the U.S. or backing from the U.K. There's a second-class citizens.
If you think about it for half a second, it's obviously that wouldn't work, right? If you have a two-state solution of that are supposedly their inequality, do you think America would send as many arms and aid to Palestine as it would to Israel? Do you think that's going to be an equal balance of power in the region? Absolutely not. So the idea is kind of laughable on its face, but if that's what people want to kind of believe to at least move the peace ball forward, at least move a ceasefire ball forward, sure, let them believe in this kind of fictional two-state solution. But I think the short term is recognizing Palestine as a state.
Yes, you have to get to that first.
Yeah, that at least normalizes that it is a country, and there's also a logistical, tangible kind of benefit to this, which is if you're a state, you can be kind of a part of this global trade, be a part of the United Nations, have a voice, and have a vote in a lot of these things. Can you imagine Palestine being on the Security Council when their time is up, if they were a UN member state? So there is actual physical benefits to being a globally internationally recognized state. So here's some quotes. Simon Harris, the prime minister, in response to this, like, being the wrong time with everything, with everything going on with Israel, Hamas, the genocide in Palestine, the tensions with Israel, it was asked, is this the right time to recognize Palestine as a state? And he said, quote, "There's never a wrong time to do the right thing." Pretty base quote. The Norwegian prime minister said a prerequisite for achieving peace in the Middle East is the recognizing of the state. There will never be peace. There will be no peace in the Middle East without a two-state solution. The Norwegian prime minister said there can be no two-state solution without a Palestinian state, which obviously that's true. And then the Spanish prime minister, Pedro Sanchez, said something very seriously. This recognition is not against the people of Israel, and certainly not against the Jewish people. It's not in favor of Hamas. It's in favor of coexistence, so more just two-state solution stuff. Benjamin Netanyahu was pissed. He pulled all of their like ambassadors from these countries, went on like just rants, and like he threw a bunch of tantrums on TV, and he said that they're rewarding terror. It's a reward for terror, which is just kind of, which if you actually take a step back, he's saying the quiet part out loud, which is like recognizing the women, children, the civilians of Palestine, just the existence that Palestine exists. He is equating with terrorism, and like, and that you're giving, if you
all
feed
Palestinians, all Arabs, Palestinians specifically, are terrorists.
Are worthy of being, then by de facto, if you follow the logic through, then are targets. And so what he's essentially saying is that, like, yes, I'm killing Palestinians, like, and I know that sounds like a leap, but it's like, if you say that rewarding Palestinians as statehood is quote unquote rewarding terror, that's equating all Palestinians with terrorists, and they have been very clear on what they do with terrorists. Dude, if A equals B and B equals C, then A must equal C.
Dude, if you literally just flip this, like, take a step back and just use the same logic and put it like a world, setting it's World War II, the Holocaust is going on, and somebody told them, hey, the Jewish people, they need a state, and Hitler goes, no, they don't. They're the Jewish people, they don't really exist. They don't need a state. If you support the Jews, you're supporting terrorists. It's kind of, it's not the same thing, but at the same time, it's kind of like the same idea. You're denying a people their right to exist. Yeah. And that land has been there for Palestine long before the European Jews came there. Yeah. And that's not to say that Jews did not exist there. They very much did so.
Go back and listen to,
but those are Arab Jews. Yeah. Those are Arab Jews. Or Jews that just migrated there earlier.
Yeah, I mean, they were like Semitic peoples from 3,000 years ago.
Well, here's the thing.
Still,
Arabs are Semitic people.
Yeah, no, it's all like that Levant. Listen, we've had this conversation for like an hour and a half about the history of that region. Yeah, go back, listen to like our 4, 5, 6 episode. We went and we did a deep dive on the history of the Levant region, who was there first, the complete rundown of it. We're not saying that Jews were never there, but there's more nuance to that. Jews were there and then left for 2,000 years, and then
you can be a Palestinian Jew,
and you can be a Palestinian Jew. That's to say nothing at that point. Yeah,
that's what the people don't get. Just like you can be a Palestinian Jew, but they are Palestinian.
I was looking up some more stats about this. Of like the 193 countries in the UN, about 140 of them actually recognize Palestine as a state. However,
already.
The majority of EU countries don't. So this is actually like a breakaway with Western Europe and the European Union countries. These three, I think, of the 27 countries, only a handful of them do now, and this 3, I think, is now like piling that number. Still more don't than do, and I don't exactly know how many.
Slovenia is on the verge of also.
Yeah, and I assume more will come in the following days now that like these people have kind of stepped up and shown their kind of courage in the face of whatever. Germany has said no, this is a mistake. France said this isn't the right time, which is like, I don't know what the right time means.
God, that just sounds like the Democrats here.
Yeah, exactly. It just sounds like a lot of waffling from a lot of a lot of other countries. Anyway, I don't know if there's anything more to say about that. No. What are you saying?
I'm delirious. Oh, I said blue waffle.
What is blue waffle?
Look that up if you're interested. We're not going to talk about it on here.
Is this some like, I don't know, schoolyard shit, man?
Yeah, it is.
All right. It sounds like it, but I don't know exactly what it is. Anyway, good for Ireland. Ireland's always been based. I mean, there's been like Irish
yeah.
politicians in like the English Parliament that are like coming out like full throated for Palestinian justice and calling it a genocide. And Ireland has been showing up pretty consistently since day one. So
Always.
they recognize
They did the same thing for,
game.
yeah.
I will say though that the comments that the Irish Prime Minister or President, whichever he is, the leader,
the Prime Minister,
Simon Harris,
Yes.
He did say in a longer quote, I don't have the exact quote here, but he did say in a longer quote, like it was a very strong condemnation of Hamas. We know, we know what terrorism looks like. We've dealt with the IRA for years and stuff. So he came out like super hardcore anti-IRA and like recognizing that like state terror is never like, it's never the answer and stuff. And so like that, from like a leftist perspective, that ignores a lot of like the material conditions of Hamas and like what gave ground to Hamas. And I kind of don't like that he came out so anti-Hamas of like, the strongest condemnation. But I mean, like, whatever, he's a politician, so he's got to say what he's got to say. But it was still kind of annoying that like, if you're going to come out and support Palestine, just support Palestine. Don't crouch it by like saying, but I still condemn Hamas, but I'm still one of you guys. Just fucking say that you support Palestine. Palestine's a state, and leave it at that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just frustrating. I get it. He's a politician. He's got to do what he's got to do to get reelected or whatever, but it's still frustrating.
100%.
Have some balls, man. But shout out to Ireland for doing at least somewhat of the right thing. Is that too harsh? Am I coming down too hard on him?
No, you're good, man. You're good. It's like, listen, we're one step closer. We're one step closer. At least they're recognizing them as a state. What happens afterwards, we'll figure out. But the first step is like to even get to that point where we can have a debate on what's what and like all the little nitpicky bullshit.
Yeah.
First, we gotta fucking just at least recognize that they exist, right? So this is a good first step. Maybe in a year or two, we can do something else to actually take bigger strides towards Palestinian freedom.
Yeah, then that would be, kind of that's like you said, that is the next step. So we'll see.